Hi everybody, Chris here from Truly Holistic. I thought it was time to do an updates video, and I'd like to welcome everybody to the new year, to 2020, so 2020. And one thing I want to start off with this video is the symbology of 2020 the year and 2020 vision, okay? You know, when we're trying to restore our vision, we want to restore it back to 2020. So I think there is a clear connection and symbology into that, and the fact that this year is going to make a lot of people's visions of their purpose being here, and a lot of things are going to become a lot clearer, okay? Our reality and perhaps disclosure of reality and all the things that have been kind of suppressed against us, but also us on an individual level feeling like we have a clearer vision of where we need to go, okay? And our purpose here. Because when you think about it, knowing our purpose and feeling fulfilled because we know our purpose and you can achieve what you know you can achieve is everything in regards to why we're here and in regards to this human experience. So I thought I'd share that with you to start off with. Now we're going to get into some things that are new, okay? And I've got to say that at the junction of 2019 into 2020, I'm noticing a lot of changes occurring. Ascension's moving fast. Things are moving very quickly. And we are actually coming up to approximately around about the 12th of January. There's going to be another big shift happen where things are going to move even faster. Okay, so keep an eye out for that. More importantly, feel it. Okay, and this is the thing about a lot of these energy shifts and how it manifests into this reality is feel, okay? Feel what feels right, what feels wrong. Maybe whatever's wrong or something within the body, maybe what is it trying to tell you, okay? And that's the body is a conduit. It's a way of channeling and trying to tell you something. So listen to it, okay? And quite often, when ascension is moving so fast, you may be, your body might be going through a whole lot of stuff, like a detoxification. Okay, we talk about, you know, when we're changing our diet and we go into a diet that's detoxifying a part of the body, like a gallbladder or a liver flush or the body. Ascension's exactly the same thing, but it's happening at a higher plane of existence or a level. But that treads down into all the layers into this reality, and it creates a manifestation within the physical body. So be aware of that too. Changes in the body, whether it's good or bad, may mean that we're on the right track anyway, because ascension is shifting and things are evolving with it. Okay, so please be aware of that. Now, what we're finding is that a thing called the master domain is being created. Okay, what is the master domain, I hear you ask? Now, the master domain is a realm or a place where you become the creator again, okay? You're not being manipulated or puppeteered by another consciousness. You are in the driving seat. You are behind the mixing desk of your reality. So this is exciting stuff, okay? And for the last few weeks, I've been noticing a massive drop-off in regards to foreign consciousness or the Archon consciousness affecting people. We have to go in and still remove residual castings, so any form of intent, you know, in the form of spell, curse, hex, witchcraft. These are just all labels that we use to describe an intent or a casting in their intent from a consciousness that has always been there to try and elicit a suffering response from you or energy from you, and that's what they sustain from. You know, we sustain on that other opposite energy when we come into polarity and duality between some abusive energy or fear energy. And abuse essentially means an environment without love. Okay, so, and we sustain ourselves from love. Okay, so by creating this master domain, we are going towards more of a singularity energy of the energy that sustains us, okay? And that's love, okay? And moving away from fear. So it's enabling us to revisit. It's not about going somewhere new. It's revisiting our true self, okay? And we're going to talk a bit more as we go, about that. Now, another thing we're doing here at Truly Holistic is we use the terminology of a backup, okay? And now what we're doing is we're using an ascension backup. Now, when I say ascension, ascension equals source, okay? That's your origin. That is your true self, okay? So when I'm saying we are revisiting your true self, we're just going back to where we once were before we got trapped within this reality against our free will, okay? So, when we hear people saying about, we are multidimensional, okay? We have amazing capabilities to manifest whatever we want. We do, but at these higher levels or planes of existence, which we are going to revisit again, and that's where what we're trying to achieve in regards to this word ascension. So, in regards to backups, okay, there's been a backup within this reality. That let's use the analogy of a computer. We have to back up our files on the computer, so therefore if something happens to the computer or it crashes, we can restore our data, okay? We don't lose it. We don't lose the data, the information. And that data, okay, which has been the mechanism of your soul, which was also the coding of you, which is your DNA, is used to recycle you from one incarnation to the next, okay? And sadly, within this reality, for a majority of us, we don't remember or hold on to the memories of our past lives because we weren't in control of how we reincarnated many times and probably hundreds of times within this reality. Okay? Now, so you can see that data, that information that makes you up, that coding, which we call the DNA, and the mechanism of the soul, which recycles you from one lifetime to a next, has been used many, many, many times. Okay? Now, in regards to move out of a duality energy and move towards a singularity energy of love, we need to be bringing energy in from outside of this reality. So what we're doing now, for areas that maybe weak spots in regards to you, and we all have them, and areas that we've had trouble with, is to bring these ascension backups. So we're bringing data information from outside of this reality, part of your source lineage, which includes your higher selves, and putting that into that area of you within this reality instead of this recycled backup that's been used hundreds and hundreds of times and had so much manipulation to it completely over many, many lifetimes. So we've been doing that a lot, and that's working really well. Another thing, and in regards to also the memories of other lifetimes, we may not be able to remember the exact memories, but we feel it, okay? And this goes back to what I said earlier in the video, is we feel it, okay? Nothing gets hidden through feel, okay? We might not have to completely describe to the smallest detail about those memories, but we feel that internal conflict in the body, and you hear people saying, this does not sit well with me. I don't feel like I belong here, or why I should be living on Earth. I should be living somewhere else. It doesn't feel right. Well, that's that internal conflict of these past memories and all these things that you've learned, but you've had that memory erased between lifetimes, so you don't figure out the game. And the game is that you are being put into a reality against your free will, and you've been limited to not know who your true self is, or your potential is. Okay, that's that internal conflict. Okay, so along with these ascension backup clearings, we're also doing love activations. Probably about a good 2 or 3 weeks ago, at least, the shroud of abuse energy was lifted from humanity. Okay, and as I say, abuse means an environment without love. Okay, so what that does, it limits the singularity of love, the power of love, and the capability of it. Now it's been lifted off. We're really making an emphasis to do love activations and fill that void with that singularity energy of love. Okay, and this is directly connected with ascension. There's no doubt about that. Now, the type of light that's coming through with this in regards to singularity energy is a blue light. Okay, it's a renewal of blue light. Okay, we've kind of been duped in regards to this UV light, which we call the blue frequency light, in regards to our screen devices and so on. That's not true. This true blue light. Now, what I'm being starting to use in regards to qubit measures or tensor rings is Ascension qubit, and I've been told that the best way to facilitate or anchor that energy in, again, it's an energy coming from outside of this reality, is not using copper but using silver. So I've been starting to use silver. Okay, so that's the Ascension qubit there. And I make it at the size because it's beautiful to have in your pocket, so it's within your field. I wear it as a pendant, okay? And that's bringing that energy in, okay? So again, it's, even though I'm still within this reality, we're bringing energy from outside of this reality, from your true self, your source lineage, which has not been manipulated with, okay? It's more of your true self, more of your real self, okay? And that's been very beneficial. Now, with all these changes occurring, we've also been getting able to lift residual casting energy. So, the Archon, Zeus. Funnily enough, Zeus has been coming up the last couple of days, which is a name that hasn't come up for a while. Now, this is not new intent. It's not new attachments of Zeus. It's something that's been sitting there for a long time. And now, because we're making strides in regards to Ascension, we can look deeper into the problem. We can clear the stuff that's been sitting there. So, another thing that's been coming up is a couple of terms that come from Star Wars, and I tell you, this made my day. I love Star Wars. I'm a big Star Wars fan. And we've been using this term of spears of light for a while as a healing energy or a charging energy. And my higher self, or my channel, has been telling me to use the terminology of a lightsaber. Okay? So when we look into Star Wars and we look at the Jedi, and we also look at the Sith, and again, the light side and the dark side, that duality, right, of this reality, is that within their weapon, or they call it their weapon, their lightsaber is within that is created or amplified by a kyber crystal. So again, I've been told to accumulate people or certain areas where you've got a weakness or an issue with the accumulation of kyber crystal energy, and that just amplifies light, okay, just like the lightsaber does in regards to the Star Wars movies and the Jedi. Now, the lightsaber is a symbology of a column of light, okay, and we create that column of light. So that's been working really well and amplifying more light and therefore more singularity energy into a certain area of a client as well. So I've been using that, and that's working really good as well. Now, we're going to drop back more into the physicality of things. What I've been noticing a lot, especially with people with digestive system problems, is parotid salivary glands have been coming up, and this is a gland that sits in here. And the main functions of that gland is to secrete saliva, of course, and the saliva is activated once you start chewing, right? And another very important part of that gland is to secrete amylase, which is an enzyme that breaks down carbohydrate. Okay, and why I'm bringing this up is because I think for a majority of us, we don't chew our food enough. Okay, and therefore we don't activate enough of that enzyme. And what I'm seeing at the moment, the growing trend with dietary trends at the moment, is that carbohydrate's the bad guy. At the moment there's keto in regards to eating more fat, and there's paleo with eating more protein, and carbohydrate's kind of the bad guy in regards to the macronutrients. Now, why I want to bring this up is because I think we need to understand that it's not necessarily carbohydrates are bad, or fats are bad, or proteins bad. It's that, and this is why we see the uniqueness and individuality of everybody. Diets are going to be different. Is that how is your body processing that macronutrient? And if you're not chewing your food enough, and that parotid salivary glands isn't working the way it should be, then all of a sudden your ability to break down carbohydrate is impaired. And it may look like, hey, carbohydrates are not good for us to eat, but maybe it's more to do that we're not actually chewing our food enough, and we're not using that parotid salivary gland. We're not breaking down that carbohydrate. What you'll notice if you chew your food enough, that the food becomes sweeter because the starch or those complex carbohydrates are being broken down into very simple forms, and therefore simple sugars. So a lot of the times, if we're not breaking down these good carbohydrates, okay, which vegetables are the greatest carbohydrate of all, then the body will reject it just like it does. It probably thinks it's like a candy, okay? So we need to understand that we need to start the digestive system process off in the right way by chewing our food properly, because if we don't do that and we eat our food too fast, and I'll put my hand up, I'm definitely in that camp, then our ability, it's got to go through 35 or more feet of tubing. It's behind the game straight away because you haven't chewed your food correctly enough, okay, and your stomach's got an ordeal, and your small intestine and so on. So I thought I'd mention that because that is coming up a lot in regards to sessions at the moment with digestive system problems. Especially, if you've got symptoms of bloat, it's definitely linked to this gland, okay? Now, another thing, Australian fires that are going on at the moment, okay? And the fires that over in California and so on. And, there's such an emphasis on global warming at the moment, and there are a certain few political leaders that are kind of not really wanting to go along with this whole global warming, and Donald Trump seems to be one of them with America, and also Australia is, because Australia does back the states quite a bit. And it's funny enough that that California seems to be having that issue a lot, okay, with bushfires. And Australia is going through a terrible time at the moment. I feel for those people, and feel for the wildlife and all the things that have occurred, and the suffering that's occurred through these bushfires. I wanted to talk about it because I dowsed about it, and it's mentioned that these are being done on purpose, okay, and these are being done through laser warfare, okay. In regards to I'm not going to go through the whole thing about weather modification. We know that happens, okay, and they create weather, they create drought wherever they want to, because the sum of all of it is creating more suffering, okay. And at the moment, for us to keep ascending, we need love to conquer, don't we? Fear, okay. So obviously there's a lot of fear and suffering through the wildlife that are being decimated through these fires, but the people that are involved, but also the people that are looking on all around the world in regards to this disaster that's happening in regards to these fires, is that we're just feeding the flame by placing more fear, and I think these places may be getting attacked because, again, these countries are maybe not going along with the common consensus of global warming. And I'm not going to get into that topic as well, because there's a lot of people that on both sides of the thing that, okay, global warming is a thing, and for some people it's something that's been created, and everything happens for a reason or a purpose, and everything is created for a reason or a purpose. We know that this reality is being really a farm for loosh or fear energy. Okay, and when we know it at that level, when we look at things like these bushfires happening, and these events that are creating so much suffering, we know that there is definitely propaganda involved, and in regards to this, in secret societies. And also we must also understand that these secret societies and people that just hold a lot of anger, they're not necessarily evil. They're just being channeled by a consciousness that is just using them as puppets, okay, to have a hidden hand within this reality. And we must understand that. And we can't take on this fear with more aggressive feelings or anger or low vibrational, because we're just fueling it. We need to send love. We need to send love out there, send love to our fellow animals, and human beings around the world. and do it in a really important way, a really sustainable way, where we're not giving up our energy, okay? And this is what comes into this next topic I just want to finish this updates with, is I've been working a lot on people's expressive self, okay? We used to call it the personality of a person. We call it expressive self now. And this expressive self is directly connected with how you control and express your emotion. Okay, our emotion is our battery pack of energy. And a lot of people go to me when I mention about learning to control emotion. Again, this is another Jedi thing. You look up about Jedi, it's very interesting. We need to be like Jedi, trust me. Is that controlling emotion is not suppressing emotion. We need to express emotion, but we need to have awareness and consciousness of how we express it. Because if we express our emotional in a way that we are giving up our energy, we are no good for anyone, including ourselves. Okay, so we need to be aware and very conscious of how we express our emotion without depleting our own battery supply of energy. Okay, so we're working a lot on personality and expressive self, and I thought I'd bring that into the whole discussion about the bushfires and how response of this unbelievable disaster that's occurring with the Australian people at the moment, and the wildlife and all the suffering that's coming with it. So we need to just flood that with love at the moment, and I hope everyone's doing that at the moment for those people, and for Australia and all the other places around the world that are suffering with these fires, this laser warfare that's occurring. Anyway, I hope you really enjoyed this video. I know it's gone a little bit long, but I love to explain these things in a little bit more thorough manner. It's great to have the discussion. So if you have any questions below, post down below. If you'd like to book an appointment with me, not only for healing, energy healing, but as for guidance in regards to manifestations in your life, connecting to your high self, your source lineage, making sure that you're not being connected to a consciousness that's trying to manipulate you and puppeteer you in the wrong direction or the wrong path. Just go to my website at trulyholistic.net, and until next time, see you later.